Man, if I got a treat for you, I have the most amazing woman. She's a mother of two. She's a business owner of Moments Care. And
Moment.
yeah, Moment. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the moments in life. The
Yes.
moments in life that change your life. I met this beautiful woman last year. We've been hanging out and having some fun together. And she just called me up and we just started talking. I was like, I got to get you on my podcast. People have got to hear from you. They've got to hear what you're doing, how you're changing the world. One of the things that I honestly believe, and I think I shared this with you one time when we were talking, is that we should all leave the world in a better place than we found it. And moments is how you're leaving the world in a better place. So why don't you introduce ourselves, introduce yourself to our people and see so we can get to know you better.
Hi, everybody. My name's Emily. And yes, one of the things I'm doing to make the world a better place at this time is my business, and it's called Moment. And what we do is we help individuals who are in need of treatment, whether that's substance use or mental health. And I help people from the very beginning stages, if a family or friend reaches out, or maybe the individual, all the way through having them have safe transport, working with a sober companion, getting them to treatment, and aftercare as well, case management, or making sure they can integrate back into home. And I love that now in this day and age that mental health is an equal component to substance use. And I feel like that's a big part of what we're going to talk about today. Trauma informed care and helping others, something you're so amazing at, Sharon.
Thank you. I want to ask you a question. How did you get here?
Yes.
How did you get here?
Ooh. Yeah, so it's a long road. So I have 18 years of personal sobriety in a 12-step program. And I was lucky enough to find that at the age of 20. So really now as I approach 40, happy to share that half of my life has really been dedicated to personal as well as professional sobriety and helping others to find that. And like I said, when I first started my own journey, it really was about sobriety. It was about stepping away from alcohol and from drugs. And then the longer I've maintained my personal sobriety, I found out that it was so much more about mental health and it was about trauma, and that a drink or a drug is really just a symptom of what's deeper, what lies below and beneath, right? And as
Yeah.
I found that for myself, I went back to school and I became a drug and alcohol counselor. And then now I've worked in every single space possible: inpatient, outpatient, rehabs, IOPs, and I've really just had this passion that's grown for helping others, especially young people, and finding that and then transforming their lives. What are you passionate about? What do you love? What lights you up, right? Because oftentimes we're drinking and using, that light is so dimmed. And then I've been through so many things in my life, obviously, as you know, finding you, a divorce, a cheating ex, the passing of my dad, all these huge life things, and I've done them sober. And that's really my message and my hope that I get to share with others. And it's beautiful. So many people have reached out to me. My friend needs help, my coworker, my sister, my sibling, my son. And it's like, I feel like I have this gift and I've been put on this earth to really help people on their path. So it's beautiful.
Oh man, this is so cool. Oh, so you're making my brain explode, all the different areas we can go into. Okay. There's a lot of grief there. There's a lot of grief. But a lot of times we don't call it grief, right?
Mm.
We're struggling. Like even sometimes you're saying mental health. No, no, not because it is definitely a mental health. It is definitely trauma, but it also is how the heart is connected to that. So I want you to tell me just for you, how is doing your own heart work made a difference in who you are and how you show up?
Well, I think that's the most transformative message that you shared with me, truly, because with 18 years in a recovery program, and I've sought outside help through Hoffman, through therapy, through my own counseling, all the things. And it was such a light bulb moment for me because I feel like most addicts live in their brains,
Yeah.
right? They
Mm.
say that we have a disease that lives in our mind, right? The stinking thinking, the obsession of the mind, anxiety, all these things I feel like many addicts struggle with. It's a mind issue. I never ever went into my heart, right? And I feel like it's something that I've learned recently when it comes to somatic experiences or fight or flight, nervous system regulation. For many of us, the body is not safe. I
Right.
came from a home that had discord, that had fear, right? I learned how to dissociate or how to, run away from myself with drinking and using. Being in my body was not a safe place. Many of us are not in touch with our body, right? Or the signals or the signs. So for me, it's either head or escape. Those were the only two
Yeah.
options. And as you taught me, grief is in the heart. If I can't even access my own body or know where my no is or where my yes is, or if it's not safe to live in my body, how can I make the connection between my mind and my heart?
Yeah.
So for us in our work, one of the biggest things you taught me was to slow down. I'm not a slow person. I've been described as having a hummingbird energy. I am full send. And I think many addicts are. It's that full send. I want all or nothing. I want to feel fantastic or I want nothing. And so
Yeah.
for me, it was to honor, and I still use this practice to this day. The thought comes across my mind, whatever it is. It could be innocuous, it could be large. The thought happens, and you taught me, what do I feel?
Yeah.
And that connection is beautiful because I never wanted to feel sad. I never wanted to
Yeah.
feel scared. The negative emotions, I don't want to feel those. I want to feel good
Right.
all the time. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's a big mark of addiction. I want to just feel good. And if I don't feel good, then I want to escape to a place where I do feel good. So for me, it was owning, hey, I feel sad. Oh, what is that? Oh, interesting. That thought made me feel sad. What does sad feel like? And sitting with that. You know how many people I've brought that to?
Yeah.
Clients I work with, friends. Like, really, it's a true game changer. And sitting with the negative emotion for like a minute and watching someone process and sit and transmute, it passes.
It does pass.
That is the magic. It passes. Go
Yes.
figure.
Oh, I can still remember having that conversation with you and the light bulb turning on and you like, what? Like you caught it. And I love when that happens when I'm talking to somebody and they get it right away and they get it. Okay, let's talk about the escape for a minute. You call it escape, I call it avoid. So we're talking about the same thing. It's it's mostly because right there, just what you said, we don't want to feel that negative emotion. And if we don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to process it, we as grieving people, as users, if or people that are addicted are struggling, we're going to find some way to get this to move. And a lot of times that's alcohol, that's drugs, that's sex, it's pornography, or doing nothing, right? It can also be doing
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And it can take us down there for such a long time. And sometimes it's really, this is where I want to go with this. It's working on the addiction, yes, but it's also working on the thing that brought us to that point, correct?
Yes. Well, I love that. Yeah. In the professional space, they call it maladaptive coping. And I feel like a lot of the work that you do is similar to what I do, right? And when you come and bring it down to the very beginning, it's all about our childhoods. It's
Yeah,
all about mom and dad. It's all
yeah,
about the things that we learned as kids of how to survive.
yeah,
And in the program that I work, they want to call it character defects. I love to call it character defaults because when things get tough, we go to our default settings. It's just like
yeah,
a phone or a computer. We default to the thing that we know that worked when we were kids, right? And so, like
right.
you said, some of us it's hide, some of us run, some of us act out. It's like, what can I do to change how I feel right now? Because the old thinking is sitting with how I feel will kill me. And the irony is, it won't. The
Yeah.
solution out is sitting with the thing that we think is going to kill us, is the way to freedom and allowing it to pass.
Yes, yes. It's such and this is the other thing that I say. It's such a simple thing, but it seems like such a big thing, right? When you and I break it down, to me, I think that it's done on an eighth grade level. It's very simple, and what of course, the person who is suffering needs to understand it and be ready, willing, and able to do the thing. But the simplicity of it, it's not connected to the medulla oblongata connects over here, and it's all of these things. Okay.
But
Uh,
like you said, it's also about meeting people where they are, right?
yes,
If
yeah.
someone is not even sober, that's going to be a very abstract concept for them. So that's where I
Yeah,
come in is like, how do we separate the drink or the drug? Or if someone's deep in depression, do they need extra help to even be able to hear that? That's why I love the head heart connection is so simple. I have
yeah,
done this with people at parties, I have done this with people at events. Seriously, I have friends who are not even in addiction, they just struggle with severe mental health. And I'm like,
yeah,
hey, pause a moment. What is this saying? What is this saying? Like literally, I've done that
yes,
and
yeah,
watch people's nervous system just go from this to Oh,
Yes.
just in that moment. It is the tiniest tool that can go anywhere and be used for anyone. It's magic. Anyone that's listening, seriously, try this. The next time you have a thought that's sending you, ask yourself in your heart, what do you feel? And then sit with that feeling for 1 minute and watch it change. It's magic, really.
I think that the hard part that people have is really finding the thought because a lot of times I'll ask people, what are you feeling? And whenever you start a sentence with, I feel, I know it's coming from the brain. I feel like
Mm,
she doesn't want me to be there. That's a thought.
mm,
And that's where we got
hmm
to slow it down and show them. I agree with you 100%. And knowing our emotions and knowing that negative emotions are okay. I would
hmm
imagine that most of your clients that you work with, um, you're trying to get them just settled, getting them on a path, getting them on a journey. So, how much of that are you actually stepping into the actual grief and what got them there, as opposed to let's get you settled and then we go to the next step?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I love meeting people where they are, right? So sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Sometimes people come in knowing, hey, these are all my issues, right? And I like to say, we put out the fire closest to you. So you're not going to be doing this deep work if you can't stop drinking and using. But sometimes I have the fortune of meeting people with months sober or years sober, and they have the trauma. They're ready to look at the grief.
Yeah.
They're ready to look at the things. And I think that's a really beautiful moment is when you recognize what does this person need most right now, right? And if you can recognize the fire closest to them and then start to work backwards, it's been incredible, really, truly. And I'm able to dig into that work with people and meet them where they're at. What do you need? What do you feel is going on for you? And I've seen profound changes. It's really a beautiful thing.
What stops us from wanting to do the work? What stops us? What scares us?
I think it's just fear.
Hmm.
Really, it's just fear, and our program says it's a fear of losing something we already have or
Mm.
fear of not getting something we want. And I think everything in life boils down to that, period. You think of things in your own life, really, truly, fear.
Right,
It's just fear.
right. Right. And that's why having someone next to them, showing them the way, showing them the path makes such a big difference. You're going to be okay. We got
Hmm
this. We got you. It's
Yeah.
how did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Honestly, it was a slow awakening, as I feel like many are, right? Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. I know in all of our lives, we have a moment that changes everything, that head to heart for me. Oh my gosh, wow. And then sometimes slow over years and dedication,
Yeah.
because I think it was honestly, it's my calling, it's my gift because I got sober at 20 years old and I thought it was about drugs and alcohol. Just stop doing that and you'll be fine. And the irony is once that's removed, there's a never-ending plethora of work and opportunities. And then because people always comment on how resilient I am, right? But I could tell your listeners, it's like I have been through things decade after decade that most people wouldn't survive one thing or think they couldn't survive that. And they say, you're so resilient, you're so resilient. It's like, well, what option do I have? And I
Right.
think those things have been put in my path so I can show others, hey, I've been through this and this and this and this and this. And look, I'm still standing and I'm
Right.
still sober and I'm still trying to help others and I'm still smiling and I'm still showing up as a mom. So, there's kind of all these beautiful things that work together that when I realized, oh, wow, people want what I have. And not just in a
Yes.
recovery space, maybe as a mom, maybe as someone who's went through a divorce, someone who's sober, someone who has mental health, someone who's trying to find love again in dating, someone who's
Right.
continued to work on myself, someone, the ex was a narcissist, like all these different spaces for me just have more experience to help people
Yeah.
suffering in all these areas. And even young people, or I work with girls with eating disorders or cutting, or just there's so many areas that I'm like, me too, or I can relate, or how
Yeah.
can I help you? And it's kind of a beautiful thing.
But sometimes what happens to our friends and our sisters and brothers and when they're going to do the work, so sharing some of that stops them from doing it. Like they can't say the thing out loud. What do you say to the person who can't say the thing out loud? Like if I share this, people will think different of me. If I say this thing. And
Well,
sometimes
that's what I mean.
admitting
I
it
think
to
I think it's like
themselves, right?
right. Yeah. Well, about meeting people where they are. Perhaps someone comes to you and says,
Yeah.
my mom died or my friend died or some type of grief, which I love. Also, I have to say from you, when I learned that there was like 50 types of grief, people's
Yeah.
minds are blown. Divorce, moving, end of a job, because maybe some people think they don't even qualify for grief work. Well, I don't know anyone that died. It's like, well, have you been divorced? Did you move? Did you lose a job? Like, did you lose a best friend, a pet? Like, I think that's so cool because
Yeah.
obviously if people are coming to you or I, there is some type of suffering, there is some type of hurt, and just allowing people to start talking and see what
Yes.
comes out. And sometimes they come with, well, my best friend, da, 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 da," and then way later down the line it's like, well, my dad died when I was 5. Oh, interesting. Or my mom left and she never came back. Oh, really? It's that listening. We're listening for what's being said just as much as what isn't being said, because that's the doorway for opportunity.
What do you say to the woman right now who thinks, well, this is not for me. I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. I'm just going to,
Mm,
this is my life. This is where I'm at. What advice do you have?
mm. Yeah, I think it's like if you're coming here or you're looking for help or you're willing to seek, there's that part of you, that intuition, that knowing that I'm not happy and I'm not okay with my body right now and things can be different. I think, like I said, the mind body connection is so huge and it's something that you work on. But if you're experiencing anxiety, you're experiencing depression, you're experiencing panic attacks or fear or maladaptive things, a lot of times for women, it's like eating or not eating, shopping too much, excessive apps or dating, like whatever's going on for you that feels something's not right here, that's your body's way of saying, hey, pay attention to me. I need something. I need
Yeah.
some type of help. And it's like, if you're willing to share that with even one person in a safe space, a friend, a parent, counselor, then you can start to feel safe. And that's a lot of what I do is building that one-to-one safe connection. I
Yeah.
have people that come in, they're so resistant to anything. And then through this loving moment, through this talking exchange like you do, you feel safe. And if you can
Yeah.
build that connection with even one person, then that safety can lead to greater outcomes.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. How long have you been doing this total? Everything.
Oh my gosh. I
Before you
mean,
work on
honestly,
yourself
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
right. Well, personal work, I mean, easily 20 years.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
easily 20 years. And professionally, 15 years.
Yeah. So, and having done your own personal work makes a huge difference in what you're doing and how you're helping people because you've been on that side. So, and
Yes.
you can kind of bring that to the table. Here's my question though. We've seen it change. Like mental health help, grief help, sobriety help has changed over the years. Like we're constantly still finding new things, new avenues, new ways to go about things. Like some of the things we used to say 10 years ago, we don't say now. You're right. It's it's
Mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
incorrect to use that term. It's
Yes.
changing and it will always continue to change and for the better. Do you agree?
Yes.
It's always continuing to change. What are some of the major changes that you've experienced in
Mm-hmm.
as far as 20 years ago to now?
Yes. Well, I think a long time ago, there was only one program that was invented to help people that suffer from alcohol and drug abuse. And I have to give a shout out. It's an anonymous program, but I love Alcoholics Anonymous and the study of it and the text of it. And it changed the world almost 100 years ago and the people
Yes.
and the foundation of that. From that program, and I have to give a shout out to this, so many other programs were built on the backbone of that original language and that original
Yes.
program. And even just now before this call, someone reached out to me and said, hey, do you have a therapist? A couple of my friends are struggling from drug and alcohol abuse. Can I get a therapist name? And then I said, oh, you're struggling with that. Interesting. Here's some therapists, but also, have you ever been to Al Anon? That's for the friends and family of people who are struggling, right?
Right.
So there are so many avenues and options available. Are you struggling with gambling? Are you struggling with food? Are you struggling with, shopping? Like there are so many avenues and there are so many varieties of help available, right? Maybe
Right.
someone's willing only to talk to you. They have no other issues. Great. There's a grief person. And I think that's huge to have those connections. What do you
Yes.
need? I have therapists available. I have treatment centers available. I have grief people available. Like, what do you need? And that's the difference. It's so specialized, right? A
Right.
100 years ago, it was like a woman goes to the psych ward and she's never getting out because her husband put
Yes.
her there. I've been
Yes.
watching a lot of like old-timey shows like Bridgerton and Buccaneers and all these old-timey shows. And it's like there was no help. You're a drunk, you're gonna die that way. You go to the psych ward, you're never getting out. They're locking you up because your husband says so, right? Now we have choice. We have
Yes.
agency. It's 2026. We are concierge of what do you need and how can I help you get there?
Yes.
Beautiful,
Yes,
amazing,
absolutely.
specialized.
One of the things that I often share is that after Donovan died, me going way down with the drinking and having going to AA. But I read a book, and I don't even know who the author was, but gosh, now the title just went out of my head. Anyway, she talks about all of the different programs. And basically what she was saying, and I agree with you, we owe homage to AA because of what it did, has done for so many people and continues to do for so many people. But the thing that I think helped me the most, even though I did go through an AA program, was knowing that there was the possibility of other programs that were out there. That we have other
Yes.
choices, right? We have other
And
choices.
maybe not even a program, because I have friends who are really struggling with severe mental health issues, zero substance use.
Yes.
Cool. What do
Yeah.
you need? Let's
Yeah.
help you find a purpose. Let's help you find a path. I'm like,
Yeah.
go to Dharma punks, like go to get a hobby. Like, what do you like
Yeah.
to do? Like, there
Yeah.
are so many options. So if someone's here and they're like, well, I have no substance use, I'm just really depressed or really anxious or really in
Yeah.
deep in grief. It's like, I think there's a way to help anyone that's in need of help. And that is the difference. That is how things have changed in 20 years. Meeting people where they are. What
Yeah.
help do you need?
Yeah.
Even if you have no substance issues, that's my story. That's my journey. But like I said, are you a single mom? Are you going through a divorce? Are you grieving the loss of something? Are you single, trying to get married and have kids for the first time? That's a lot of my friends. Like, we are in an age and in a time where help is available, period, full stop. All you need to be able to tell me is, how are you struggling? And I will give you a whole way to help yourself or ask for the help that you need and then receive that in any front. And that's a beautiful thing. Everyone needs
Yeah.
help in some type of way, right? They do.
Yeah.
So it's finding what is it that you're struggling with and how can I be of service to you? And then conversely, if you're in a position like you or I, where you've done some work, you've done some healing, then how can you help others, right? How
Yes.
can you help
Exactly.
someone? How can you take what you have and make this world a better place? You
And
know,
make
the
the world
climate
a better
that we're
place.
in, the climate that we're in right now in the world, everyone is either suffering or has something to give. And if
Yeah.
those two people could join forces, how beautiful. How can I help someone in my community, in the space that I work in the experiences that I've been through, right? Like, we are so blessed. We are so lucky to live in the United States, to have means, to have a home. Like, that's a big practice that I do that I'd love to share with your listeners, is a gratitude practice.
Yes.
Even when everything is so dark and seems so terrible and the horrors of the world are on me, I can be grateful for 10 things in this moment. I have a home, I've showered, I've eaten, right? I have
Yes.
technology, I have a cell phone, right? I'm safe, like I can go outside and breathe clean air, like boom, 10 things anywhere I am. And it just makes me feel, oh, it's okay. Actually, this perception of negativity or what I'm going through, I'm actually okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay just now in this moment, present moment awareness.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Here's my final question. Before we get to you really telling everybody where they can find you, I think one of the other things that have changed is the fact that we can now
Mm,
talk about it and we can say the thing out loud. There was time where we could, even now today, this one still kind of bothers me. I can't say death by suicide on TikTok. They will cut off my live immediately. We
mm,
can't use the word suicide. But I think
mm.
that with suicide, things changed after Robin Williams died. People can now say grief. People are talking about grief. People are talking about mental health. People are talking about trauma. They're talking about sobriety or addiction. I feel like the fact that it's out there and it's not such a stigma anymore is changing the way we approach it, the way we treat it, and the way we love the person who is going through it. Thoughts on that?
Yes. Oh, I mean, I love that. That's so true, right? I mean, think about, obviously there's a generational gap between you and I. When
Yeah.
you were growing up, so different. And
Yes.
now my generation, I'm an elder millennial, proud.
Yeah.
And the way that Gen Z talks about it, they have language,
Yeah.
because of social media, things are rapidly changing.
Right.
Awareness can be spread instantaneously. One trend on TikTok, boom, the whole world knows about it overnight. So, because of social media, we have this power to illuminate these things and to
Yes.
activate change so quickly. So, yes, I love that there is awareness. I love that people feel safe to talk about this. I love that people can instantly find community, right?
Yes,
Whatever community you're in, LGBTQ plus, right? Grief, spouse, anything, addiction, like you can find your community. And that's so beautiful because social media, a lot of people want to talk about, we lack real community. People's communities are online. You can go find
yes,
that out in the real world.
yeah,
Whatever community you identify with, you can find that connection because I
yeah,
think a lot of what people suffer from now, loneliness, lack of community, lack of connection, maybe they feel so apart from. I'm in North Carolina right now, but I live in Los Angeles. And guess what I did first thing when I get here? I go find a meeting. I go find my people. I go find community. I need that. That's the single biggest game changer, I think, in my recovery and in my world is like lack of community is what I see that's the hardest for people. Loneliness, isolation, lack of
why is
community
community so important? Why is it so important, community?
because it makes you feel like you're not alone. And you talk about that with your grief work. I'm the only person that's ever gone through this. I'm the only one that's ever lost somebody, moved, been through a divorce. You feel so alone. I felt so alone. I
Yes,
need community. I need other people to say, I felt like that too. Oh my gosh, you understand me? Because that's how I got recovery almost 20 years ago. I talked to my mom's sponsor. My mom's also sober. Thank God for her. And I talked to her sponsor and just hearing her voice on the phone, because again, this was almost 20 years ago. And she described how I felt. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. What a
yes,
beautiful thing. I'm not alone.
yes,
And that's what I try to bring to you, as I know you do too, right? I
yes,
have suffered in this way.
absolutely.
Let me share with you because suffering shared is suffering halved, right?
Yes, yes,
A
absolutely.
shoulder to cry on, someone to lean on, community support. It's that hug, right? And
Yes,
so for some of us, our family is not the safe place to go and do that. Or,
yeah,
maybe our friends, you're too much, you're too depressed. I can't do that with you. Or I don't know how to help you. Like, just buck up. Why can't you be okay? Right. So going to find a place where, hey, this specific thing that I'm suffering from, these people also feel that or understand that. Oh, what a relief. I can be myself. It's okay to feel sad here. It's okay to be discouraged here, right? And then it's like
yes.
healing can begin from that place of understanding and love and connection, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I want to keep going and keep this podcast going for forever.
I know. It should just be our podcast at this point. Let's do part two, three, four, five, 10. I'll meet with you every week.
I'm
This is great
definitely
because
going to
there's
have you
so
come back. I'm
much.
definitely going to have you come back because I think
Oh, I'd
this
love to.
the conversation is so important, especially when we come upon a grieving experience. And one of the things we do is we numb out and we use some sort of substance to numb out. And I want to talk more about that. So I'm definitely going to have you back. Okay, tell everybody where they can find you and exactly how you could be of service to them.
Yes. So my website is momentcares.com and it's called Moment. I mean, I'm everywhere. You can find me on Instagram. My handle mlovesla. I have my phone number. You can call me, you can text me, you can set up an inquiry on our website, right? If you're looking for help. And I have my personal self information on there, but I also have a male business partner and his name's Lucas. We work on the West Coast, we work on the East Coast. So, really, any and all things you need in the recovery space. Do you have a friend or loved one that's trying to get recovery? Are you yourself looking for recovery? Are you not even sure what you need? I think that's an amazing thing of what I do too, is I offer resources. Do you need treatment? Do you need a therapist? Do you need grief work? I have a huge network of people. Do you need a sober companion or a recovery coach that can, hey, help motivate me? I need to find a job. I need to stop drinking. I'm really struggling with anxiety. Like I think I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people on this full service, this soup to nuts. What
Yes,
do I need? You come to us like, help. I don't even know what I need. Cool. Let me help you get there. So really, we help anybody, any age, anywhere. I know that sounds like a lot, but it really is like some people just approach us for someone else or for themselves. And it's like when they just come to us, I don't know what I need, or this is what's going on. Cool, here's how I can help you. Because doing it alone is way consuming. It's too much. Some people can't even motivate themselves, or a loved one calls and says, hey, so and so is going through this. Can you help us? And I'm like, great, this is what you need. Having a concierge support,
oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm going to add something on the end of that. When
please.
Austin drowned and I was walking up the stairs to tell Eric
Mm.
he had drowned, I needed help. And I tell this story all the time. I felt like someone was going to show up and they were going to have a trifold. And the trifold was going to have all the information. But you're the help. You're the help that
Mm,
we need when something goes wrong, when people need that guidance in that direction. Wow, amazing,
yes.
beautiful. All right. And
Yeah.
your website is, say it one more time.
Momentcares.com. Yeah,
Perfect.
moments. And we'll
How
put
did
it
you
up with
get
the
moment?
podcast. And I mean, honestly, like think about this, like a moment in time. A
Yes.
moment can change everything. The
Yes.
moment that changed my life.
Yes, I love it. That's why I wanted to ask you. Okay, awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, friends, and I'm going to link in the show notes the website where you can get all of that. Thank you, friends. See you on the next podcast.
Thank you.